So, in any case, with your own career, your next world title opportunity came in 1990 against the legendary Thomas Hearns.
Yes.
And it was, you have the distinction of going 12 rounds with Tommy Hearns, which a lot of people, let's face it, a lot of people didn't hear that final bell. And I suppose it's, in terms of when people would talk about your career or introduce you to somebody, and for kind of brownie points, people would say, this guy fought Tommy Hearns or went the distance with Tommy Hearns. Is that, do you feel it was a defining moment for you, or what kind of memories and kind of associations you have with that particular fight?
Yeah, Ben, I mean, Tommy Hearns was, I mean, how could you not love that guy? He was incredible. I mean, I grew up, he was professional long before I was, and he was I mean, I tried to emulate so many things he'd do in the gym. Him, Ali, Leonard, Hagler, all those guys, Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello, Duran. You look at them and you're like, yeah, I could borrow some of that. I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you get in the ring with someone like Tommy Hearns, and all of a sudden it's like, let's get ready to rumble, and you're standing in front of thousands of people, and it's on TV, and you're looking at this guy across the ring, and it's very, it's a surreal moment. But the bell rings, and it's time to fight, so you prepare for it. Angela Dundee was my trainer at the time, along with Hector Roca, who's a great trainer. I loved Hector.
Do you know, Hector, I don't want to cut you off, but Hector, one reason I like him is because he said I was good. When I was in training at Gleason's in New York, somebody, because I had hair at the time and looked a little bit more genteel, straight nose even, and somebody, because I was British and whatever and looked a certain way, somebody thought I was white collar, and Hector Roca said, "Are you kidding me? This guy's not white collar. This guy's good. He can fight, man." And another time there was a trainer called Mo Sims who trained at the gym, and one time Hector Roca said, "That's the best fighter you got." So I like him. He's obviously got a good eye.
Yeah. No, Hector was great. And Hector was an anomaly, really, because he was an anomaly because he had never boxed before. Like, he was a cyclist. But the things he did, like, once I started working with him, my infighting game got so bad, like just relaxing and turning the punches up and turning them over, putting the hands where I need them to be, things like that.
Yeah.
And the repetition that he made me, you know what I mean? That stays with me to this very day. And it's he was an incredible teacher, and he's someone who was he was a competitive cyclist, but not a boxer. But some way he was able to turn from that into boxing, and he's done great. He's had many world champions because of it. So going into the Hearns fight was, there are many circumstances that I would say didn't allow me to do my best, but at the same time, if I had opened up against somebody like Tommy Hearns, you also have him opening up back on you. And, it's like you can't play that game. It's like, well, if I would have thrown more left hooks, well, then he would have thrown more right hands. And what do you think was going to happen?
Did he catch you? Did he catch you for real in the fight?
I felt his left hooks Tommy's left hook isn't the best. His left uppercut, left hook aren't the kind of things that are going to knock you down, knock you out.
Yeah.
His jab is incredible. I felt like the first round I felt his jab, I caught it, and I was like, dang, okay. I felt people's right hands and left hooks, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
His right hand was something like you just see it coming back. Like he'll hit you, and if he hits you clean with leverage on it, just like and the thing is, Ben, he doesn't have any recoil. It's just from here, bang, forward. So you have to already be in the midst of moving to pick it up, or you just happen to be moving your head and he just misses by accident.
You've got to play the percentage game,
Yeah, he's very accurate and he's very, very powerful with that. And he sits down his leverage. He's got that big bag. So in the 9th round, he caught me. And it's funny, he caught me, and I was kind of like, I knew where I was, but for some reason my legs were out of control. I was like, what's happening? Why am I going down? And I see him coming with another right hand as I was going down. I was like, okay, let me get down faster.
Yeah.
So I dropped to the knee, and I shake it loose, and I was like, okay, this is it. Forget it. We gotta fight now. So I get up, and you can barely see it on camera because they were flipping between Tommy and I. But I stood up, and I went like this. I was like, okay, let's go. Let's fight. Because the strategy was, Angelo said to me from round 1, he was like, I just want you to move. Don't do anything else. Just move. Stick, frustrate him, We're going to come on later. So it's an time he called me. I go down. I was like, okay, come on. I thought he was going to be like, oh, he's fresh. The kid's okay. I'm not going to fall into that trap. He came at me throwing everything. So I had to do my best Wilfredo Benitez, just moving ahead and do that. I got to the point where as soon as I heard him breathe, I was like, okay. I came back, I caught him with a left hook, then I grazed him with another one, and I saw his legs do something like this.
Yeah.
Then we started going toe-to-toe, and I backed him up to the ropes, hit him with a few combinations. He threw a left uppercut to my body. Just instinct, I caught it, and I came over with a left hook on top, and I hit him on the top of the head. It bounced off the top of his head, and he was hurt. I saw it in his face. I was going to throw with the right hand. The bell rang, and the referee separated us. And I was like, like this. And I just missed that chance. And then I came out for the 10th round. All of a sudden, he was just in reverse mode, and he was boxing. And Tommy Hearn's boxing is as dangerous as Tommy Hearn's, like getting up on his toes and moving, is as frustrating and as hard as Tommy Hearn's coming at you, because he's all of a sudden he's creating length and he's putting the fight in his times that he wants, right? And so once he gets up on his toes and starts to move, he's just like, he's just a hard guy to fight. His range, he's still got the power, he's still got, and I'm not an aggressive fighter like that either, like going forward and taking punches and swinging like this. It isn't me. So I had a problem finding him the last 4 rounds of that fight. But it was an interesting fight. I look at that and I look at like the first round of that fight, and I say to myself, you know what? I hit him more times than he hit me, even though I was backing up. I countered him more effectively. I caught his punches and countered a few times, but like a lot of the guys at ringside, and that's what always frustrates me about people that are calling fight. They don't really see the fight for what it is. They see the fight for what they want it to be. Like they expect a guy, they say, that guy is, this guy's more talented, or he's a greater fighter than this guy. So I'm only going to see what he does, or I don't like his personality. I'm only going to see the guy's personality that I like, and not call a fight really. Fighters like Roy Jones and a couple of other fighters are really good at that. But it takes a very special individual to allow people to, to teach them what they're seeing. Not just
It's highly possible to watch one fighter and not the other, even though it sounds nonsensical to people who don't understand boxing. But you can, if you're not careful, you can find yourself focusing on what suppose you want to look at Kid Chocolate or somebody, or you want to say, I'm going to watch Ray Robinson today, or anybody else, and you watch Ray Robinson versus Carl Bobber Olsen, and if you're studying Robinson, you tend to be watching him and what he's doing in combination and defense, and you think, you know what, I'm not really watching the other guy. That is a trap that judges can fall into. Is they're only watching one fighter essentially, and maybe that's the A side, like you just explained with Tommy,
Yeah, it's going to happen, because it's always going to be a measure of, well, what did he do? And I remember him doing that, and oh my God, there's that right hand again, and there's the baleful stare, and I would have been scared. It's like, no, we're professionals, baby. It don't work like that.
Yeah, well, there was a judge, I can't remember who it was, but he suggested a good value base for judging, a good system. He said what you should do is break it into 3 minutes, every round into a minute. He said score the first minute, 10-point must, score the second minute, score the third minute, look at your aggregate, like your 30, 20, whatever, and then break it into a 10-point must, total. He said to split a round into 3 and score each segment, and then work out what your actual perception of that round was, rather than just get swayed by what happened in the last 30 seconds, etc.
Exactly. That's always been an interesting strategy too. I think Sugar Ray was the first one to bring it popularity with his fight with Marvin Hagler, and then Oscar De La Hoya rode that wagon too, and then all of a sudden that was a thing, like steel rounds. And that's,
having said that, I hate the suggestion that Ray stole rounds, because I think Ray was winning the first 2.5 minutes against Hagler, most of them rounds too.
I think so too.
You probably know it. It annoys the hell out of me.
I was there ringside for that fight. I was sitting right beside Bo Derek.
Yeah, okay.
So I remember that even more than the fight.
Bo Derek used to go to all the big fights. Hagler Hearns, Hagler Mugabe. She was a staple there, too.
Yeah, she was. Her husband John loved the fights. Yeah. So he was always there, and I think she took pictures, or he took pictures, or something. But Yeah, it was. Those are the days. Oh, the '80s in boxing were incredible. I think, but I think that there was a level of expectation in fighters of those days, you know, and fighting had been. It was more than just like now. Everything is about. I mean, really, it's money, and if
Yeah.
it doesn't have money attached to it, generally, it's not going to happen. And in those days, I mean, look, I fought guys. I fought Curtis Parker, James Hard Rock Green. My first 5 fights in the United States, I probably took a purse home of like $25,000
Yeah.
of all the fights together. You know what I mean? But you did it because you loved it, and there wasn't that. Maybe it was my manager's fault. I don't know, but there wasn't that type of negotiation. Then once you're fighting guys, and I think the first 4 guys I fought on NBC, their collective record was 102 wins and like 3 losses, and and probably something like a 70% KO percentage of like average of all of them together. You did it because you loved it, you know what I mean? And you really believed in your talent. You really believed you could win, and it wasn't about. I mean, yeah, you would have your fun, you'd get your outfits on and all the rest of that kind of stuff, but it wasn't about that. It was this real Spartan thing, and it was about proving yourself, and it was about boxing was about you wanted to be mentioned in line with the greats. You know what I mean?
That's what Sugar Ray Leonard said to me when I first got an interview with him about 8 years ago. He said, I believe it's more of a business thing now. It's gotten away from mano, you against me, the legacy. And obviously what I said to him was, well, you were fighting for millions too. So it was a business thing, clearly. What's the difference? And he just said, surely the escalation of money on the table was the difference. And perhaps just the cultural expectations.
Well, Ray was so unique. I remember meeting Ray the first time in Vancouver when I fought this guy, Stacey McSwain, who was Michael Spink's sparring partner.
Stacey McSwain fought Errol Christie and Wilfred Benitez.
Yes. Yeah. I fought him. That guy is hell. Oh my God, that guy was hell. That was the one fight I said, after this, I'm never getting tired again. Because that guy, for me, I was, but Sugar Ray was in town for his press conference. And I remember I met Ray, and I made the mistake of going like this. I was like a junior welterweight. He was a welterweight. And I was like joking around. They were like, oh, Michael, you want to fight Sugar Ray one day? And I went like this. I put my fist up. I was like, yeah, I want to fight him like this. And I put my fist up near his face. He looked at me like he was going to kill me at that moment right there. I was like,
really? It wasn't funny.
I took that fist back. He's such a competitor. He was just like, it was incredible. First of all, he's like, well, who's this kid? He's 3-0. He's holding his fist up to me. I just finished, beating Tommy Hearns and all the rest of that kind of stuff, and had my eye surgery. He was like, nah, that I deserve more respect than that. And I'm a kid, so I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I fully understood the look he gave me, and I took my fist down.
Yeah, and the thing with Ray is that baby face and the kind of charm and eloquence throws people off the scent of what is a cold killer. You can tell, and he had a rage inside of him too, because he had certain things going on, like most people do. He had a rage inside him. Most people are carrying baggage from their upbringing and stuff. As he said recently on the Mike Tyson podcast, it's going to take a fight to make your life right. And Ray was dealing with all that stuff. Like you say, he was a ruthless assassin of a fighter. Aside from his pretty skills and his eloquence and the wattage of his smile,
you see his face when he goes in attack mode, when he feels like he's one of the greatest finishers of all time.
Yes, absolutely.
When he gets you hurt, I've never seen a guy so accurate, powerful, and fast. You know what I mean? It's just like
when he fought Lalonde, even at that stage, that the execution and the brutality and variety of those shots. And Donnie is a really good guy too. Donnie gets involved in social media these days, and he speaks about the fight. And I know he believes he could have won it because at one point he was doing rather well, and his size and natural strength was working for him. He also cites getting punched in the throat, which he did, and it didn't do him any favours. But at the end of the day, it was a conclusive finish from Ray. And obviously, I mean, it's funny. Even though Donnie, I consider him a friend today, I like to think Ray would have always beat him no matter what anyway, because there's friends and there's idols, right?
Yeah, well, Donnie's like he's Donnie. I really love Donnie. I love his fight spirit. I mean, like he was able to pull himself up from humble beginnings in what you would call boxing, and like he paid the dues. He sparred with guys like Marvin Johnson, and he put
Yeah,
that work in, and he beat a lot of really good fighters on the way up to get the light heavyweight title,
yeah.
including
Leslie
Leslie
Stewart
Stewart,
and
and you know what I
Marvin
mean.
Johnson.
And that right hand, like the things that he did, I remember sparring with him in Gleason's gym. It was crazy
Yeah,
because everyone wanted to make it a war, and he just started working with Teddy Atlas at the time, and
yeah,
Teddy Atlas would be like, kill him, and I was just like, yo, what is, like, what? And this is my first time coming into Gleason's. I was like, what is
yeah.
this? And nothing really happened. I just boxed, and he kind of was trying to like take my head off, and I was just boxing. And then
What did you make of Teddy? Are you a fan of Teddy or more? He seems to polarize people's views. You get the devotees who think he's a guru,
he does,
and you get the people who say, you know what, he's a fucking crank and a dangerous one at that. I know Donnie belongs in a lesser club, but where you stand?
Well, I mean, I really like Teddy as a person. I don't know him. Like, I only had that one experience with him boxing wise. So I don't know anything else. But like the times that I've talked to him outside of the ring and all the rest of that kind of stuff, he's always been really respectful. He gets the performance out of the fighters that he needs.
Yeah.
Some people will say it's grandstanding, whatever. Once you have a fighter and you're in the ring with that fighter, it's about you making sure that he wins, doing everything you can to make him win.
Yeah.
If what you did didn't make him lose, then that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
No one could accuse him of not going the extra mile in terms of motivation and commitments.
Yes.
No one could accuse him of not being committed to the victory. And the cause
exactly.
for victory. But,
So I don't know about Teddy as a fighter or anything else, but what he was hired for, he did, and he did well. And it's not easy to get it to cultivate a fighter and to keep a fighter on the straight and narrow, because everyone thinks fighters are a certain way. Some fighters, you have to fight to get them in the gym, as talented as they are. You know that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
I'll just say we got Michael Sprott tuned in. Michael Sprott was a kind of a contender, British heavyweight contender, former British champ as well, I believe. Heavyweight guy, fought Danny Williams 3 times.
Wow, hats off.
Fought Audley Harrison too. Knocked out Audley Harrison.
Wow.
Got knocked out by Audley Harrison as well. So
Traded
you
him,
win some, you lose some. Yeah, but he just tuned in now anyway. So
how you doing?
I just thought I'd say hello to him. Yeah, Michael, I suspect, Michael Sprott, I'm always saying this, so I suspect we're winding down at this point. This is a conversation, if you didn't already know, with former world title challenger and contender Michael Olajide. It's been really good. It's been really good to connect face to face, Michael, because I know this is the thing about social media. I think it is a great thing because I think you can really get the feel for someone's personality and really get to know them in text if you build that relationship over enough years. Yeah. We've been talking a few years now on the threads, and it does. Whether you know or not, it means a lot to a lot of my followers on Facebook that people like yourself, someone such as yourself, is so regularly in the loop with them. I know for anyone who comes from my era, it still gives them a buzz to say, Michael Olajide responded to me, replied to me, or he liked my comment. People like yourself and Donnie Lalonde and guys like Dennis Rappaport. Yeah. It's all quite magical for me still. I don't ever want to lose that feeling of being a fan and being like 14 years old. Ben,
I really feel you, and I like there are very few boxing things that I get into at all, but I really respect your knowledge and I respect your ability. I've watched you in the ring. I've watched you like when you're sparring with people, whether it's mock or not. You can tell. Blood can tell blood. You know what I mean? When it's real, you know it's real. When someone that really has talent, you know that because that's what I consider myself. That's what we did as fighters growing up. You look at guys and you say, he's talented or he's not. I'm going to fight him. What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? I look at you moving. I look at you teaching. I look at you punching. I look at you doing all those things. And you're for real. And you box for real. And it doesn't matter whether you fought for a world title or not. Your talent is real and your knowledge and the way in which you speak is real. And you deserve to be behind the mic and talking more about boxing and bringing, to a huge audience, really.
But okay, Michael, fantastic to talk. After this has been a long time coming this particular interview. We'll have to do it again because there's other things we could talk about. But for now, I will let you go. Massive love and respect. Take it easy. You told me not to call you champ, so I'll say Silk. Take it easy. Okay. See you later.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your people. Thanks for tuning in. And we got to start talking like before a big fight. Let's do that. Because I think we can go back and we love a lot of the same things, but I think we can also contradict.
Let's prove you that stuff. Yeah, let's try and go viral with that. Okay, Michael. Be lucky.
Let's do it. Peace, brother. Cheers. Bye.